So it's 2019. I'm just putting things, manifesting them into the universe. Hey, husband, if you're watching, I'll catch up with you soon. I don't know how soon, but I'm getting ready for you. I'm preparing. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm getting brave, okay? All these steps gonna help us in the future. Do me a favor, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another installation of And She Rants. My name is Olamide, and today's topic is being brave. It's 2019, y'all. First of all, thanks be to God that we made it into this year. If you're anything like me, you know what I'm saying, end of the year didn't go as you planned. I talked about it a little bit in my video, Lessons Learned, so if you haven't watched that, you can take a sneak peek. Listen to the 5 lessons that I learned about myself towards the end of 2018. And I took all of that and all of the thoughts about the end of the year into 2019 and kind of just like came at it full force, was like, this year's about to be different. This year's about to be a whole thing. Everybody has a word for the year. My church's word is perspective. Another word from Transformation Church, which I have been watching their videos, is release. And I've taken both of those words and I've stood on them, and I believe God that like this is going to be the year that God changes my perspective about myself, about things, about the community around me, about my job, about everything, so that I go into this year confidently. And that God would release me from things that I don't need to be a part of, release me of weight holding me down, and release me into exactly who He's called me to be. So I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're starting the year. Let's go. I'm really excited about it. But actually, there was a word that stuck with me too for this year for me. And I did a little Instagram poll to hear if people wanted to hear all the words that were for me. Y'all really didn't help me with the Instagram poll, and that's fine. The word that I felt like I had for the year, I was like, let me share with the people about what the word was and what were the things that I felt like were deposited onto my heart as I'm going into 2019 and trying to plan and prepare for exactly who I'm supposed to be this year. So the word for the year for me is the word brave. And that word might seem a little bit corny to you, and that's fine. If it is, then this video is not for you. That means you might be a very brave person. You might take risks all the time. But for someone like me, the word brave is really important at this particular moment in my life. I think that some people look at me and they're like, you're always brave. Oh, you quit medicine. Yeah. Honestly, if you've been on my page since I've been Angie Coates, I have never talked about the time when I was in a program at Johns Hopkins supposed to be a doctor, okay? I left that program and I moved to New York, and then I quit that job and I moved to LA and I learned to code, and I came here and I took all these leaps and I took all these chances. So sometimes I feel like people will perceive it as, oh, you're brave, you take risks all the time. False, not true, period, okay? Or maybe it's like something that was lost in the past few years. Once I got comfortable, I started feeling comfortable with things that I had in my life, start feeling comfortable with the lifestyle that I had, feeling comfortable with the amount of money I like seeing, and consistency, and trying to, just not wanting things to change all the time and wanting to be sure about what's happening for me. So I think that the combination of all those things has kind of led me into this space where I'm not necessarily as brave as I used to be. The word for me this year is the word brave. Today's video is really going to talk to you about 4 things that are required for you to be able to step into a space of being brave. To be brave requires 4 things, in my opinion, from people. So today I'm just going to talk through those 4 things, and you can debate me if you want to, but this is my word from God. And argue about your word from God. All right, let's get started. The first thing that is going to be required of you is bravery requires you to be humble. Bravery requires you to be humble. Okay, what does humble mean? What do I really mean by that? What are we getting into? Okay, when I talk about humble, I'm really using one of the definitions that stood out for me, and that definition is to destroy the independence, power, or will of. Humble defined as to destroy the independence, power, or will of. Okay, so literally that definition is like, first of all, who's trying to put me in bondage? That's literally what it sounds like. It's like, to destroy the independence of, first of all, I'm an independent woman. What y'all need from me? You're not going to destroy my power, blah, blah, blah. But for me, that represents knowing that it's not in my own power. Like for me, it's not in my own doing. It's not in my own strength. I could have all the things that are required to be successful, but we all know that life doesn't work that way. It doesn't just go to you just because you have all the cards in your place, right? For me, it's not in my own power, it's in God's power. It's through his will. It's through what he's called me to do that I'm able to do everything. So when I say that being brave requires you to be humble, and being brave requires you to remember that it's not in your own will that you're going to make anything happen. It's literally through God's decision and his choosing you and what he deposits into you and what he empowers you to be able to do. So like the bravery is really just like the belief and the dependence on God. The second thing is that bravery requires that you listen more than you speak. In other words, shut up, that's your mouth. Be quiet. Be quiet and listen. I talk, obviously, you know what I'm saying? I have a YouTube channel where literally I spend all my time talking to myself on the camera once a week. Sometimes you can get so caught up in talking, explaining how I feel. You know, I just really felt like God ministered this to me today. And I really just feel like this is happening right now in my life. You know, I really just feel like God is asking me to do blah, blah, blah. You know, I really just feel like it's my year to make this happen. I really just feel like it's my year to blah, 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 blah. All y'all doing is talking. You've been talking. First of all, you talked your way through 2018. Hello? You talked your way through 2018 of all the things that you said you want to. Why don't you be quiet and listen? Why don't you listen? Why don't you listen to what God wants you to do? Why don't you listen to what your spirit is telling you is the right next move? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk about it, be about it. And sometimes being about it really just means tuning in and listening to what's going on in the background of your environment, what's going on in the background of the industry that you're trying to be in. You want to work somewhere, you want to build something, like, do you listen to the market that you're trying to target and what you're building? Yo, when I be talking, I really be talking to myself, because I don't listen. I be talking, oh yeah, people want this, people want that, people want to see this, people want to see that. Have you even listened to what the people want? And whatever it is that you're doing this year, like, bravery is really about being brave enough to not have to talk your way through things and just listen to what's happening around you and act accordingly. Listening more than you speak also means that you're willing to remove yourself from whatever distractions cause you to open that your mouth all the time and start talking instead of listening. And that could be for whatever reason. That could be in whatever environment. That could be removing yourself from, you know, someone you know you're not supposed to be dating. Someone you're not even dating at all. I don't know. So, like, it could be removing yourself from friendships. It could be removing yourself from a job. It could be removing yourself from a city. It could be whatever. Listening means that you are willing to remove yourself into a secluded place so you can actually hear what you're trying to listen to. Taking yourself out of the distractions so that your listening is actually more tuned. Like, you actually can pay attention to what's going on around you. Because in my experience, the things that have been most important are the things that weren't said. They weren't said. They were in the actions. They were in the behaviors. They were in the I don't know, the body language. They were in the just feelings that I got. And I had to listen to myself, to what the market was telling me, to what the environment was telling me. And if I had been busy talking about what I wanted to do, I never would have caught what I was supposed to pay attention to that would stop me from maybe doing the wrong thing, or that would tell me, go, now's the time to move. You want to make sure that you're eliminating the distractions so that you can listen more than you speak. And the reason that that's something that is brave is because everybody talks, but listening is actually difficult to do because it just kind of requires you to trust yourself and your ability to hear what it is you're looking for. Number 3, bravery requires obedience. Bravery requires obedience. I hate this word. I deeply, deeply hate the word obedience. Like, There was literally no word that I disliked more than obedience as a child, where it would be like, be obedient. I was very like, stop telling me what to do. Whenever someone tries to give me instructions and there's someone I don't feel is authorized to give me instructions, I kind of just feel like, who are you talking to? Nobody asked you. Okay, you're not my mom, you're not my dad. I don't like this word. I didn't even like the word obedience when I was in their house and I was a kid. I definitely don't like the word obedience as it relates to like spiritual things. Stop trying to make me feel like I am required to blah, 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 blah. If you have a healthy dynamic with your authority figure, that authority figure could be yourself. It could be your inner self, okay? If you have a healthy relationship with the authority who's giving you instructions, then being obedient is actually for your good. It is always for your good. It is always to put you in a better position than you were, to save you from doing something that might hurt you later down the line. You may not see the repercussions now, but they may come later. So for me, the examples of that are being obedient and submitting to God. It could also be submitting to your intuition, to your inner spirit, listening to that knowing place. Here's something I've realized about me over time. My discernment, okay? A1, you're not telling me nothing, okay? I already saw who you were when you came the first time. I meet you and I'm like, this person, I just feel my spirit be like, mommy, dad, you know what it is, okay? Whatever the situation, I literally feel strongly that my discernment game is on 100. You know what's not on 100? My obedience, okay? I don't listen to the instruction of my inner authority and my higher authority so that the discernment that I've been gifted with actually saves me from the trouble it's warning me about. Like, your girl has a problem because I very rarely actually do the thing that I know to do. Like, if you've been in that situation, you can lie to yourself, that's fine. But if you've been in a situation like me, you know what I'm talking about. Why must destruction come for me to realize, oh man, I wish I would have done blah, blah. Why must I wait for things to be terrible for me to want to change or for me to want to be different? So that's kind of the sphere of realizing that being brave requires you to be obedient because your inner self, your intuition, God knows what's ahead of you better than you do. So you might as well listen to it. But it's actually brave to listen to it, at least for me. But my desire to obey does not outweigh the lesson I'm willing to learn along the way. You know, some people use that as an excuse. You say, everything for a lesson learned. Yes, but the goal is that eventually you trust yourself enough, or you trust God enough. That's being brave. Trust. You trust God, you trust yourself enough to know, I'm gonna listen to this voice that's telling me don't do that. I'm gonna listen to this voice that's telling me, don't go in there. Don't go on that date. Don't go to this place. Don't whatever. Or go, move now. Now's the time. Go buy that thing. Go, make this happen. Go do whatever. Listening to it is actually an act of bravery every time you do, because you're trusting that the authority outside of yourself, outside of your flesh, knows better than you. But it is something that is required for you to literally step into the next level of who you're supposed to be. I strongly believe that. So, that's the biggest one for me. It's like obedience. Your girl's about to do what God says. Your girl's about to trust her intuition. And that's going to be interesting because I've never really done that before. The fourth and final thing is that bravery requires you to do it anyway. You are going to probably still be fearful. You're probably going to have moments of doubt. You're probably going to see challenges and obstacles along the way. And part of bravery is realizing that those things cannot compete with what you know to be true about who you're destined to be, and cannot compete with what you know to be true about what God has spoken to you. taking control of your mind is literally not like a destination. You don't just one day get there and you're like, control. I never think about the way that it's an everyday thing. Like for me, I am a recovered, you see that? Words in my mouth. I am a recovered hypochondriac where literally everything makes me so pressed. Like you don't understand how many times I've been to the doctor in 2018. I went to the doctor so many times for everything. Everything. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? Everything made me fearful. I was like, this year I'm taking control of my mind. This year I'm taking control of my thoughts. I'm not a hypochondriac anymore. The way that literally January 1, I was like, oh, my fingers. They're itching. They're tingling for WebMD. My tips of my fingers are tingling to go on WebMD and search for whatever I'm feeling on the inside. Like, I was like, this is going to be hard. This is literally going to be difficult. And this is going to be every day. And even if I miss a day, even if there's a day where I don't feel like searching for whatever I'm feeling in my upper shoulder on the back, like I'm literally going to have another day later down the line where I do feel those concerns. And you have to realize that like the do it anyways, that like you're gonna have days of being fearful, you're gonna have days of doubt, you're doubting it, people around you are doubting it, nobody's trusting exactly like what is coming for you. You're gonna see an obstacle, you're gonna be sure that I'm supposed to do this thing, and then there's gonna be a big roadblock in your way and it's gonna be real. And you're gonna have to do it anyway. Like being brave is recognizing that obstacles are not an indication that the race is over. It's literally just maybe an extension of time of how long it takes you to complete said race. And you have to be willing to be in that environment of knowing that, dang, like this is the life I'm signing up for. I am not worrying about the things that are trying to get in my way. The fear that I'm probably gonna feel about taking a leap on doing exactly what I'm called to do, the doubt that's probably gonna come to my mind, I'm gonna do it anyway. The thing that I'm called to do, I'm gonna do it anyway. Those are 4 things that I believe are required for you to step out and be brave. What's required for you to take the leap. And if you're on this journey with me, if you want 2019 to be your year and the word for you is brave, like, hit me up, DM me, let me know, like we can do this together. I'm looking at the end of this year to say, wow, look at what happened because I did the things that I feared would ruin my life actually ended up being the things that opened the doors to a level of what I couldn't even have imagined possible for me. Like, comment, interact with what you've watched. What are things that you think are required for bravery? What are you stepping into this year in 2019? My name is Olamide, and I'll see you next time for the next rant. Bye-bye.